Welcome, everybody, to our Sunday gathering. We're so grateful you're here today. If we haven't yet met, I'm Sandra Champlain, lovingly referred to as hostess with the mostest. I am joined here with my bestest of friends, Kerry and Phil, and we have a member of our community with us today, which is Santou Carter. A few weeks back, I asked, and we're always open for this. We know we have some members of our community with things to share, messages, and can make a difference. So Santou is our guest today, and she will be doing our address. Kerry and Phil, of course, will be doing our demonstration of mediumship. They'll also be doing our opening and closing prayers, and then our words for the week. And I'm on the technology and the music videos behind the scenes, but I'll also be making the announcements. I'll be doing the reading for today, and then also leading you into the healing. We are going into the Thanksgiving holiday here in America, and I know some other countries share at different times, but here in the United States, Thanksgiving is right up there with Christmas. It's a big one. And so we're going to tie in today gratitude. So wherever you are in the world, please let us know in the chat box what you're grateful for. It can be something big, it can be something little. In fact, it's usually those little things that make us realize how good life is. And it's nice to read what other people are grateful for because we can take a little bit of that as well. Just before the address, I'll be doing a proper introduction of Santou, but she is somebody who is on a mission to support others through grief, and she does so many things, but I'll tell you a little bit more about her in just a little while. Our friend Darren is preparing for a trip, crossing the big pond, coming over this side of the world, and so he is off today, but we'll see him next week. So with that, I'm going to welcome everyone and just sit back, relax, and Kerry or Phil, if you wouldn't mind doing the opening prayer, please.
Thank you very much, Sandra, and I am grateful my voice still works. It is an absolute delight to be here, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys. We are surely going to have a beautiful Sunday gathering as always. But we usually start up in prayer. That prayer can be to anything you wish it to be. It is whatever you're grateful for and whoever you are grateful to. So let us open in prayer. Divine Spirit, today as we meet with that we don't die banner within our minds and that knowledge that that unseen world walks alongside us, we're grateful for the signs, the touches, the seeing and the hearing of a world unseen that makes itself known to us. When our loved ones move to that other side of life, we physically miss them, but spiritually, mentally, and emotionally, we remain in touch with them and continue our relationship with them. For that, we are grateful. Today, we're going to be able to share gratitude and thanks within a community of many, many people. Thanksgiving isn't just one day of the year. Thanksgiving is a mindset and a heart set that allows us to be grateful and give thanks for everything in our lives, even those that offer opportunities of learning, even though they might not be positive experiences at the time. So let us come together with that heart full of thanks, a soul full of gratitude, and a life full of seeing and knowing that life goes on. Amen.
Thank you so much, Kerry. And for the reading. According to a web posting by Harvard Health Publishing, in positive psychology research, gratitude is strongly and consistently associated with happiness. Gratitude helps people feel more positive emotions, relish good experiences, improve their health, deal with adversity, and build strong relationships. The journalist Germany Kent said, "It's a funny thing about life. Once you begin to take note of the little things you are grateful for, you begin to lose sight of all the things that you lack." And Edmund Wilson said, "Gratitude is one of those rare things that you get more of just by giving it away." The story I'd like to read to you is called The Gratitude Jar by Sarah Ammerman. I started the jar the winter after I was told my cancer was in remission. I thought it might be a good way to stay upbeat while I recovered from cancer and navigated my divorce. I used a medium sized mason jar and filled it periodically with notes listing the things for which I was grateful. Years later, the jar has become an important part of my routine. Every year on New Year's Day, I start with an empty jar and scribble on scraps of paper detailing things I'm grateful for or moments that brought me joy. I empty it the following New Year's. It's the perfect way to cultivate gratitude and keep myself focused on positivity. Some weeks I don't add any notes. Other times I'm tearing paper after paper and adding note after note. Every January, when I open the jar, it's like rereading my diary. Some years, by the time I open the jar, my circumstances have drastically changed. I might have written about a nice phone call with a family member, only to have lost them by the time the jar is opened. Those are the notes I keep tucked away in my special drawer. I remember writing a note of gratitude that my friend Allie was able to conceive her son after chemotherapy. A few years later, I attended Allie's funeral, watching her young son place a single pink rose on her casket. The jars aren't just filled with happiness and joy, the jars are life, the good and the bad. They remind me of the things I have, as well as the things I've lost. They remind me to hold on with both hands to the memories of people and places that I love. They remind me that even in the darkest winter, there are still moments worth writing down. Every January, when I open the jar and smile, I realize that I have forgotten many of the moments that inspired me to add notes months before. And for a fleeting moment, I get to relive each blip on the radar. The time someone sent me a card unexpectedly, the time I ate at a new restaurant, and it was simply fantastic. The time a friend came to visit me on a sunny day. The jar hasn't just helped me to cultivate a sense of gratitude. The jar has helped me to notice the seemingly insignificant moments. Through the jar, I am transported to a time when I petted a friend's new dog or found an empty playground to play with my daughter. Honestly, I never really cared for New Year's Eve very much, but now I look forward to it every year. It isn't just the start of a new calendar year and all that comes with it. It's the chance to reflect on and enjoy all the moments that filled the past 12 months. And every year, when I get to add that first note, always on New Year's Day, I realize that one of the things I am most thankful for in my life is just an old, inexpensive mason jar. That story really moved me, and I think I'm going to adopt that practice and invite you to if you feel moved to do that, because so often we forget important moments, and there are so many of them. And what a great way to spend New Year's Eve. So, as we continue with our wonderful Sunday gathering today, we're going to go into our healing segment. And it's a beautiful song. In fact, our guest, Santou, has picked most of the songs for today. It's the song The Prayer. And we don't have Santou's rendition of it, but we will wait for that. Her and her husband have a lovely version of that we will hear sometime in the future. But as we go into our healing, just spend some time Thinking of those things that you're truly grateful for, the big ones, the little ones, and think about the world, the people, maybe yourself, anyone that needs a little healing, feeling grateful that they're healthy, that they're well, see them whole, perfect, and complete. I know there's a lot in the world that needs prayers right now, and I do think we can supercharge prayers anytime we add some gratitude. So if you'd like to join me in our healing, send some love and healing, but also feel that gratitude. That is a beautiful song, absolutely beautiful. Several weeks ago, I invited people from our community. If you have a message to share and you'd like to share and be part of our Sunday gathering, we'd love to hear from you. The very first person I've heard from is our guest today, who will be doing our address. She's been a long time Sunday gatherer. Her name is Santou Carter, and she's the founder of Grief Support Services Global. She has over 25 years of combined experience as a trauma and grief therapist, certified grief educator, ordained hospital and hospice chaplain, and retreat leader. She works internationally online as a consultant, supervisor to therapists, as well as working with families and individuals using her unique therapeutic spiritual model to empower grieving people through all sorts of grief. And we know that's the loss of a loved one. It could be divorce, could be many other things. She has a gift of a free e-guide that I'll put in the chat box a little bit later, called You Don't Have to Say Goodbye, 5 Ways to Stay Connected After Your Loved One's Passing. Her website is griefsupport.co. Easy to remember. Ladies and gentlemen of our Sunday gathering, let's give a warm welcome to our community member, Santou Carter. Santou, over to you, my friend.
Thank you, Sandra. So, my aunt, who was a first-generation genocide survivor, once said to me vehemently, "You have a right to live." Those words and the force in which she said them to me really struck me. And it mingled with my memories of bombs going off in my native Middle Eastern country. I soon became a child war refugee, leaving everything behind to flee to the safety of Canada. When I was thinking about the theme of Thanksgiving, I couldn't help but remember the story of the Pilgrims from England, also fleeing persecution to settle in America. Through our travels and journey to safety, we both lost a lot, and neither of us knew how to survive in the new land. I didn't know how to speak English or communicate with my grade 1 school teacher. And the Pilgrims who settled in North America, or in the northern part of America, didn't know how to grow the most effective crops for that climate, nor how to survive the cold winters. They needed the natives to help them survive, as did I. I didn't need help to physically survive so much as figuring out how the social norms of the land, which Kerry and Phil with us tonight might know from their own travels. Social norms are very difficult to understand from country to country. So imagine this experience of immeasurable loss, including not seeing family members ever again. I know this is an audience that has also experienced loss, so I'm sure you can relate to how long and how hard it can be to come to terms with and accept the loss. But the American tradition of Thanksgiving was born out of this experience of loss. Because in addition to the losses, there was gain. There was help for survival for some. And out of that gratitude, they gave thanks together in a shared meal, which we honor and uphold today. The original Thanksgiving wasn't simply a jolly get-together to have a meal together. I'm sure some of the pilgrims would have been grieving as well, certainly inwardly, if not outwardly. And what do most people naturally want to do when they're grieving? Withdraw, disengage with others, not want to eat. But the pilgrims did something counterintuitive. They stretched themselves out of their comfort zone and compelled themselves to do something against their natural inclination, to give while grieving, and to receive while grieving. Both require acts of courage. Some of you might have a practice of gratitude, perhaps on a daily or weekly basis. Some people keep a gratitude journal where they list things that they are grateful for, such as a roof over their heads, clean water, food, and other such things. But I invite you to consider a different way of practicing gratitude beyond just list making, because for some, that could just be a cognitive process that doesn't tap into deep emotions. We are hardwired for stories, which create emotional memories for us. Maya Angelou's quote captures this idea beautifully. She says, "I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel." I want to share another story to illustrate this point. I was in need of help from my best friend in high school. I was not doing well in my biology class and really struggling to understand how the heart functioned in the body, and we had an upcoming test. I think it was the next day, So I called my friend Cheryl and asked her to explain it to me over the phone, how it all worked. She spent an hour explaining it to me, and by the way, she got into trouble with her father for spending so much time on the phone. But I got the highest mark ever in that class, thanks to her help. I shared that news with my friend Cheryl and thanked her profusely for helping me. I validated her and her ability to help me, even though I'm sure she thought it was no big deal, because to her, it wasn't a struggle for her to help, because she knew what she knew. Nevertheless, I validated her in my gratitude, and I'm sure she felt good in that moment at being able to help so effortlessly. And don't we all feel good when we can help someone else? I still recall that story because it left me with such a deep impression of gratitude. So instead of making lists of gratitude, recall memories in your life story of who you have helped and who has helped you. Those memories carry a deeper sense of gratitude because they are laden with emotion. So the message for us today is that it's from giving and helping someone else out, even while grieving, that helps us to develop a deeper sense of gratitude. A depth of gratitude that says, how interesting that I'm alive. Even if someone else has lost their life on this plane, I'm still here. And it's okay that I'm still here, smiling and enjoying a special meal. I have a right to be alive, as my aunt says, and to feel alive, because our loved ones who have crossed over are alive and feel alive too. The evidential work that Kerry and Phil do as mediums show us that there can be gain in a death, an even more vibrant sense of aliveness for them who cross over and continually bathe in the warm light of love. And as we come to terms with the loss, which we are never, ever prepared for, we can develop and gain a new type of spiritual relationship with our loved ones that we didn't have before. In a sense, we are all journeying into a whole new world when we experience a loss or a death. But it helps us to expand our spiritual and intuitive abilities to stay connected with our loved ones and be more conscious of our treasured memories. I know for some that can be tricky or difficult. You could say it's like having to learn and speak a whole new language, like I had to when I first arrived in a new land. For my offering to help you find ways to stay connected to your loved one, I have a link to a complimentary resource that will be put in the chat for you to get. Getting this resource will also help you to stay connected to me if you want to. If you feel you need a therapeutic ear or want to hear news of other events or talks that I'm doing. And if the chat is difficult to see and you want to write it down instead, if that's easier for you, you can get the resource by visiting www.griefsupport.co/connected. This resource talks about memories that we can and ought to hold dear in our hearts to lift us up in a sense of gratitude. That is where we get our sense of warmth and love, through our memories and sense of gratitude. So, with Thanksgiving Day coming up soon in a few days, create memories. Create memories of gratitude by receiving and giving help or being of service somehow. I find that much more potent than writing a list of what I'm grateful for. Acts of love is what fills us with gratitude. So when you sit down for your Thanksgiving meal, raise a toast to your dear departed ones and thank them. Thank them for all they did to help you while they were here on earth, and for their continued help and support in their new world as expanded beings of love.
Thank you very much, Santou. Thank you for taking the time to prepare. I know it's not easy to be on the Sunday gathering in front of lots of people, but we appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, just to show your appreciation for Santou, press your raise hand button. That's our way of giving you a big old round of applause. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being part of our Sunday gathering. Oh, yes, I know here in America we're going into Thanksgiving, but my grandmother used to say every day is Thanksgiving. So whether you celebrate a proper Thanksgiving in the country you are or not, it really is just that time to be grateful. If you get to spend it with family, great. If not, hey, we're your family. We're only an email away. But just remember gratitude and the power of sharing stories. So thank you for that, Santou. We are going to go into our demonstration of a mediumship. And Santou, I bet you can see how many hands are raised just as a thank you for being here. As we go into our demonstration of mediumship today, it's our way of making sure you know that our loved ones don't die, that we live on, that they're still very much alive and they're very much a part of your life. And you see Santou and Kerry and Phil and myself as representatives of you guys as we're leading the Sunday gathering. Well, we'll get a handful of representatives from the spirit world on representing all of them that say we're still around. They haven't left. I know, and many of us know and believe that when we transition to that great world unseen, it's very much like our world. And of course, our loved ones and even our pets are there to join us. And we've got things to do. We've got more learning to be had. We get to explore things that maybe we didn't get to explore here on Earth. But the magic thing is they can keep one foot in our world. They can be with us. They certainly give us privacy. Yes, they do. But what happens on our demonstrations is we get to see how close loved ones are. And so there'll be a handful, usually of representatives from the spirit world that come, and you may be someone gets to work with one of our mediums today, which I'll explain in just a moment. But even if you're not, please know that these people represent all of our loved ones, saying just how close they are, that we can still see you. We're still part of your life. And often there's a message that comes through, and they have a sneaky way of making some messages that I know for myself I can use a little bit of. So even if it's not your loved one that comes through, pretend it is. Listen to some of the words that come through. Listen to how close they are. And there could be a real gem that you could use for your life right now. So will you do that for me? Thanks. Kerry and Phil are our mediums today. And in about, an hour and some time, we have another demonstration of a mediumship with some of Kerry and Phil's students. I'll tell you a little bit more about that. in our announcement section. But yeah, in an hour and a half, it begins. So don't go too far. We've got a magic-packed day today. It's not really magic, it's reality, how close the loved ones are. Kerry and Phil are longtime mediums, and they're also our tutors of mediumship. And they feel very strongly, as I do, as to raising the level of mediumship in the world so that people know how real it is. It's not a figment of somebody's imagination. Our loved ones truly can communicate with us, and one of the best ways is seeing a medium at work. So here on the Sunday gathering, Kerry and Phil volunteer their time, as we all do. There will be someone from the spirit world that will come tapping on their shoulder, perhaps, and present themselves in a way that only they can. They'll use Kerry and Phil's imagination. They'll use their memories. They'll use their feelings. Sometimes they might use their sense of smell or sense of taste or ears. You might hear a song. You never know how they're going to work with Kerry and Phil, and they don't know either. So you'll see Kerry and Phil connect with someone in the spirit world, and they will give a few initial bits of information about the person that has connected with them. The spirit world, very smart. I can see a list of your first names, everyone who's here. Well, our spirit friends, they know who's here. They know that you're watching, you're listening. They do. And however it is they pick the people that get the readings today, we trust. We trust. We don't know how it works, but we trust. So when Kerry and Phil give those a few initial bits of information, we want everybody to be on the edge of your seat thinking, is this my person? Now, your person no longer walks this earth, okay? These people are all in the spirit world. They're living people, alive and well. And so if you can understand all the information that they just described of this person, we want you to press your raise hand button. Now, if you'd like to press your raise hand button again, just to see how it works on your side, please do that. It'll go from raise hand to lower hand. And why that's important is sometimes there might be two or more people that can understand all the information. So Kerry or Phil will work to give some more bits of information. And if you feel, oh, that person's not for me, then press your lower hand button. It's as easy as that. No real magic, but we work together on this. And of course, we understand that we are connected with technology, that we're all over the world. Sometimes things go wrong with technology, but we seem to make things right and make things happen. We'd like to play a piece of music before we go into our demonstration. It's an opportunity to feel good. This is a sing-along, and I think you're going to know the song. It's We Are Family by Sister Sledge. It's always a one I play on Thanksgiving, so you can sing along to it. I personally imagine my loved ones, the ones alive and the ones that have transitioned, all packed within this room right here, singing with me, feeling their love, feeling gratitude for them. So if you want to do that too, it sure feels good. So we will hear our song, and then we'll be back with Kerry and Phil for our demonstration of mediumship. And remember, this is Gratitude Sunday. So if you want to put more things in that chat box that you feel grateful for, do it. Okay. We are family. We've got Kerry and Phil with us today. Yay. Hi, guys.
Hello,
Hello.
Sandra. We could do with a bit of that enthusiasm. But first, may I say thank you to Santou for, we can't get round everybody with a contact, but that philosophy and address that plays a portion in the Sunday gathering is a way of messaging everybody and creating thought, debate, because that's what a good address does, whether we believe in people's words or not. It really drives home people's understandings of life. And personally, I want to say thank you to Santou for the mention about myself and Kerry, because we come on here and other places and we do our work, and it's nice to have that little bit of feedback. So thank you so much. And for the reminder of spirituality that's in there, from whatever religion or however we engage in life, it's phenomenal. But we come here on the Sunday gathering to express our own truths in life as well. And it gives us a bit of faith for the week. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you for the music. There's a song in there somewhere. And thank you for that wonderful introduction, hospitality and reading, Sandra, as well. it's just a true awe to be here, and very much looking forward to later this evening. So it's one of those parts, ladies and gentlemen, where we do that contact for the spirit world, and we never take anything for granted, just to see who comes forward. But it's very, okay, my word. As I become aware of the spirit world here, I know I have Father with me. And once he calms down a little bit, it'd be even better for me to bring him through, because I know there's a real sense of fun that he wants to bring here. But I just get the impression with him that I know I seem to pass early, so I know I'm not a great age when I pass, but I know I want to spend more of the fun side of him here, because it feels like he was very much the celebration of the family and joke of the family, in the way that he could do things on the spur of the moment, and very much pull faces, tell jokes, sometimes not appropriate from the impression that I get here. Okay, but I just get the feeling that I know there's a long illness there with him as well, and I want to say the family was sat around him. So I know here that I want Father in the spirit world. I know he's got that real sense of humor, but I want that thing. In fact, I hear the name of Ian as well, so I feel I want to talk about husband in the spirit world, not father.
Okay. Thank you very much, Phil. So, not father, husband in the spirit world. If you can understand that information, go ahead and press your raise hand button. All right. We have two ladies with their hands raised, Phil.
Okay, I want to stick with Ian, because I want to, it's almost like I just want to laugh. I know he would have a very dry sense of humor, but I know, and this is what I want to say, he would say it like it is sometimes. So I know there's that directness, there's that bluntness, and I actually want to say, as I work with him, is a little bit of a rough diamond, because I know here with him, I'm not really worried what other people think. I live my own life, and I know I'm happy getting my hands dirty as well.
Thank you, Phil. We are down to one person. We
Okay,
have
good.
Rachel, and I forgot to mention, when anyone works with a medium, just say yes, no, or I don't know to the information. Hi, Rachel.
Hi.
Welcome.
Hello,
Hi,
Rachel.
Phil.
So you understand Ian as your husband?
Yes,
Okay, and would you understand with Ian, he was a frank man?
absolutely. Yes,
Bear with me. Would I be right saying I've met Ian on a class?
you have, Phil.
That's fine, because all of a sudden I've just seen a picture and I just froze for a second. Then I'm just going to ask the spirit world to do something different. I don't know a great deal about your husband, but I know I've got to be honest and say that I've just got that picture, and I have met him very briefly. But I know he was outspoken. He would say what he thought.
Yes,
And would I be right in saying he would love to get his hands dirty?
yes,
Because it feels I want to dig into anything, and sort of like anything manual I can get my hands on, anything from engines to being outside.
not quite.
Not quite. But then would you understand, though, where there was some kind of engineering or something that he would play part in?
No.
That's fine, because bear with me then, because I know, thank you. If I said to you that his mindset liked to work things out
Yes,
for himself, because I
Yes.
get the impression here, just as I look to that engineering, that understanding, it's almost where I want to engage in activities, but I want to find out as much as I can for myself.
that's correct.
Because again here, but again, I want to go back to that sense of humor. There must be an impression with him where he liked to have a laugh.
Oh, yes,
And if I also said with his humor, he could be pretty close to the knuckle at times.
correct.
Because and if I said sometimes just between you and him, he would speak a few things that wouldn't always be politically correct.
100% correct.
Because I'm choosing my words carefully, because I know I can't, because I know here, in a way, with his thoughts, he's like a little bit of a bull in a china shop.
Yes,
Because, and again, I can't hold that back, and I just want to smile because I feel it's a breath of fresh air. But again, if I said he would view his opinion on politics and religion at times as well,
yes,
and it wouldn't always be favorable.
correct.
because it's almost where I want to look at faith, spirituality, and the meaning of it in his own way.
Yes, indeed.
And it wouldn't always follow the thoughts of others.
That's right.
But I also believe that your husband Ian would love to be outdoors as well. I want to be outdoors walking in nature.
No.
Oh, now then would I be thank you. Would I be right in saying he wouldn't necessarily like the heat?
Correct.
Because all of a sudden I just saw, and I've misinterpreted it. So I know it's all about staying cool, sort of thing. And if I said he could be quite laid back,
Oh, yes.
and he would do things in his own time. So where I made the mistake about going for a walk, that's a bit too enthusiastic.
Oh, very much so. Yeah.
Correct. Because it's almost like I just want to put my feet up and have a jolly as well. And there would be memories where you would have of him where he used to fall asleep in the chair.
Yeah. Yes.
And again, I've got my feet up, and I don't want to say they were the most. Let me choose my words here. If I said sometimes he could sit there, not always fully dressed, not naked, but not always fully dressed.
Partially.
Because I know here it's about being comfortable.
Yes.
Because I get that sense from him as well. But he's somebody that you cannot make do whatever you wanted him. He did it his way and when he wanted.
Yes, correct, 100%.
And I also believe as well that very few people in life got to see who he truly was.
Yes.
And I want to say you're one of the lucky ones. He's got a really good sense of humor as well. And would I be right in saying he used to like comedians as well?
Yes.
But I want to say the old-fashioned British comedians.
I'm not sure.
Because I get the impression it's the old jokes, the old analogies that he found humorous.
Yes. Yes.
Because again, it's almost little one-liners like "I told you so," and he's not sarcastic. Well, he is, but he's not in a derogatory way. It's very much, well, if somebody trips, "Oh, I told you about that," not, "Oh, are you okay?" So I know he's got that real sense of humor. But again, I want to really express how he enjoyed just that you and him time, because I get the impression he would do little bits to help you out around the house.
Yes.
But it's on a personal thing. You couldn't tell him to go and do a chore. He would do it, but it's more that personal interaction, because I get the impression with Ian that he could be very much a man that liked his private life.
Yes.
And I know there's very fond memories there. And would I be right in saying, Rachel, just recently you've been going through photographs of him?
No, not recently.
Thank you. You said no. Then would I be right in saying, as I'm talking to you, you can see a photograph of him?
No, not right now.
Not right now. But what I want to say is where either you usually sit, there's a picture of him that catches his essence, this smile in his eyes, like,
Yes.
that's
Yes,
fine.
absolutely.
Because I know you still talk to it because he acknowledges this.
Yes.
And I also know, and that's fine, I have to choose my words. I also get the impression with him, you've said a few choice words to him since he's gone to the spirit world.
Now and then, yes.
Because
Yes.
again, it's almost like for being on your own and everything, but again, you still refer to him daily.
Yes.
And when I say refer to him, I know you talk to him as well.
Yes.
And I know this is one of the reasons he's come today, because he wants to acknowledge, would I be right in saying recently there's either been an anniversary regarding Ian as well?
Yes, 2 days ago, Phil.
That's fine, because I know it was very recent, because it gives me the impression where it's been expressed, the love and also the memories and a celebration towards him. So I know he's just acknowledging that. But again, I got the impression with him, he just I want to call him a gentle giant, because I know he just wants to come in and give you that hug. And I know for him, there's a difficulty with expression of emotion, but that hug speaks volumes.
Yes. Thank you.
And I know it's almost like I want to hug you, but pick you up at the same time.
Yeah, that'd be right.
Okay, so again, I'm just going to leave his love with you, but know that he's around, know that he knows your thoughts, and know that he's every step of the way. And I want to go back a moment where you said no to me. Would I be right in saying that you've been out walking yourself just recently?
No, but I have been meaning to, so it's been on my mind.
And would I be right in saying where you've been planning to go, though, if I've got that bit wrong, where you've been planning to go is either some significant place between you and Ian?
Yeah, that's right.
Because I know here it's like he's walking with you, and he kept on bringing that back and said, please don't let go of this. So I know here,
Okay.
and I'm going to leave that with you and say thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Phil.
You're
So
absolutely welcome.
important.
Absolutely welcome.
Thank you,
Good.
Rachel. Thank you, Phil. There we go. Thank you, everybody, for listening in.
Okay. So I want to go back a few steps here because I made a mistake right at the beginning, but I know there was a little bit of a crossover, and I know Ian jumped in. Because I feel I want to go back to Father, and as I work with Father, I get the impression he was a mechanic, and I also feel here that that would have been a profession of his for a period of time, but I also feel that he would have always loved to tinker. And when I say tinker, it feels like I will be quite at home with a hobby, pulling things apart, putting things back together. I also want to laugh because it feels like not always I would put things back together properly. There was always be bits left over as well. And I also feel with him that he would be a man that would be almost in his element, forgive me, ladies, being with his hands dirty and in his comfy clothes as well. So I get the impression I want to talk about Father this way.
Thank you, Phil. All right, who understands your father in this description? Go ahead and press your raise hand button for us, please. Emily has her hand raised. Emily, if you could press your unmute button. Hello, Emily.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hello, Emily. You're faint in the background, but I can hear you. So you understand everything I've said?
Yes.
Okay, good. And with your father, would you have memories, please, of him tinkering with all kinds of different things, like engines and anything with a motor?
Yes.
And if I said that he would leave things lying about as well?
Yes.
But I want to say in his own way, he was organised and knew where everything was.
Oh, yes.
Because it feels where I've got things, there must have been either a garage or a shed or something where he kept everything.
Yes.
And it also feels where I'm in there and everything's piled up and on top of each other, but he knows exactly what he's got.
Yes.
Now, please forgive me for my description. Sometimes he wouldn't always clean things up with proper chemicals. A little bit of saliva and a rag would do.
Maybe.
Because it feels where I would make do and mend, if that makes sense.
I can take that, yes.
Because again, there's an impression with him, Emily, of being like this as well. Because it feels where it's almost where he must have spent quite some hours to himself doing these things.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Because it feels all of a sudden, I forgot I was on the Sunday gathering and I'm just there polishing. And I know he wouldn't be frightened of trying his hand at anything when it comes to pulling things apart.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Because again, it's the way he seems to learn and the way he seems to understand things as well. And would I be right in saying, Emily, he would have built things for you when you were younger?
Yes.
Because and if I said he would either make little vehicles, now I'm not saying with engines, but little scooters or things like that.
Nothing with a motor.
That's what I said, nothing with a motor, but he would make other things.
Yes.
Because
yes,
again,
I can take that.
It's almost where I want to say, I want to bring my passion alive and I want to share it with you. So I know he did things. Because I want to say, would I also be right in saying he was a man of not many words?
Yes.
because it's all about actions. It's all about doing things. It's all about being engrossed and showing you as well. And there must have been times when you were younger with him where you would interrupt him from his little hobby and playing with the not hobby, but being with the engines and different things.
Yes.
Because again, it's almost where I want to say the way that he showed was his emotion was through those actions and interactions with you as well. But I also feel that he was a man, where I said he's not many words, he also wasn't one that looked after himself very well.
No, I can't take, do you mean physically?
As in physically, as in the way of expressing problems with my health.
Oh, yes.
Because I know here just the way he is. And I also know he wasn't a man for explaining himself as well.
Yes.
Because I know here when you said no, it's almost like he wouldn't change his mind, which also tells me he's quite strong-minded. And if I said a little bit stronger word, he could be quite stubborn at times.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. And there's times where you could not make him do anything. And I don't want to say he went into a little bit of a sulk because I can't prove that, but I feel he did.
Yes, he did
Okay.
the last bit of his life, yes.
Because I know here there's just that impression with him. I like doing things my way as well. And again, I'm not even going to mention about Frank Sinatra and that song because I know he wouldn't appreciate it, because I know his sense of humor is very much that side of sarcasm at times as well.
Mm-hmm.
Would I be right in saying he was quite quick-witted though as well?
Oh, yes.
Because again, it's almost like I want to come back at everything and just bring that in. But I know if you asked him to do something for you, he would.
Always.
And I know here, especially where it comes to you, that would never be in question. He would do it as well. Because I want to say he was quite a protective father towards you.
Yes, he was wonderful.
Because I know there's a sense where he reminds me how I am with my own daughter, and I know I would be there for you at any point I could. And the reason I feel I'm mentioning this, because he's pushing this forward, is life at the moment, and I'm going to keep it because it's personal, where you could do with that little bit of support.
Yes.
Okay. And he knows all about it, and he's doing his utmost in the spirit world to sort this out. And like I said before, how he's putting things together and making things mend with his engines, he's doing the same thing to get it sorted in the spirit world. So he's trying to sort it as quickly as he can as well. Would I also be right, Emily, that you also have kept memorabilia of your dad's, like cards and things?
Yes.
And if I also said there's some clothing left of your dad's as well?
Yes.
But I also believe that that's fine. Your dad would have collected things as well. As in, put them into, I'm not sure if it's stamps or coupons or something. Please say no if it's not correct.
Not those particular things, but
that's fine. I'm going to hold on to that because I've got a sneaky feeling that's my next contact. But I know with your dad, he mentions the cards, and I know that you've kept, it's almost like you've let go of some, but kept quite a few of them.
Yes.
Okay. And I know the poignant ones from you, and I know you've had them for some years, and I know they go back to your earlier life as well. But I know it's that sentimental value. And there must have been a time where your dad expressed with you, when he wasn't going through a wonderful time, that how important you were to him, because he's trying to turn this round and say how it's important that he helps you now in the similar way.
Yes.
And I'm going to leave his love with you and say thank you for allowing me to do that. I know I say that I leave your dad with you, but I mean that this time, because I know he's staying with you. He wants to come in and just lift you as well. So there must be memories as a little girl, him picking you up when you grazed your knee and sorting you out, because in a way, that's what he's doing now, or wants to do now, pick you up and sort everything out. And I'm going to leave that with you, Emily, and say thank you.
Thank you, Phil. You have no idea how much I needed that today.
We just let go and let it come. So thank you for allowing me to do that. It's been an absolute
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Phil.
So-
Thank you, Emily.
As I become aware of the spirit world again, again, it feels and just bear with me, ladies and gentlemen, for a second. Okay. All right. I feel I want to bring forward another gentleman. I'm just getting to know him. There's an impression here that I want to talk, and I want to talk with another father. I might have got that wrong with grandfather, but I feel like I want to go with father. That he would have collected stamps, and I know there would have been albums of stamps. And I also feel as well that he would have collected coupons, and in fact, I know coupons is not right. It's almost like I want to talk about some kind of official, I'm going to use the word coupon, almost like war memorial or war memorabilia, but I know it's like letters and paperwork. In fact, I feel that's about his father. That's where grandfather comes in. But I also feel where there's a collection of coins as well. So I know I've got stamps, I've got war memorial, can't get my words out, memorabilia, and I've also got stamps. And this should be with father. Sorry, coins as well, sorry.
Thank you so much, Phil. All right, friends, who understands this information? All right. Phil, we have two ladies with their hands raised.
So again, I want to bring memories back where Dad would have gone through the stamps with you as well. So I know he would have shown you these. And I get the feeling that either the person I want to talk to has kept some of these things. And I feel it's either the war memorabilia, if I'm right with that.
All right, Pamela and Catherine, I'm saying your names just in case you accidentally hit your raise hand. Can you continue to take all the information and keep your hands up? If not, lower your hands. And for people joining in, you will have needed to take every bit of information that Phil has shared to have your hand up right now.
And I also feel as well that the person I speak to has got some of the coins left as well. So we've got a few people still, Sandra?
Yes, we do. We have
That's
three
fine.
with their hands raised. Two.
That's
Two
fine.
now.
Down to two, that's fine. So still back to two, that's fine. But I also feel with that, just bear with me 1 second. And I want to say these two people that are left, they must have had, they must still have the albums. They must still have everything I've mentioned.
Thanks, Phil. I'm feeling the need to lower your hands, friends, just to say if you can still take 100% of what Phil has said, go ahead and press your raise hand button again. I just had to go with my instinct there.
I think that's the best thing to do. So we're back to two, is it? Yeah.
Oh,
one.
1, 2, 1, 2. Well, Pamela is
Pamela.
our last woman standing. And Catherine, you continue to listen in because I know your hand goes up and down. Hi, Pamela.
Hi.
Hello, Pamela. You understand everything I've said?
Yes, all of it I have, but it's actually my brother is holding it right now. It's not
That's
in my
absolutely
home.
fine. As
Okay.
long as you understand all of it and it's still being kept, that's what I want. And would you
Yes.
understand with your dad, though, he was a very, I want to say organized man. He was very purposeful
Yes.
and he's very deliberate in everything he does as well.
Yes.
And also very methodical, the way he explains everything.
Yes.
And would I also be right, Pamela, saying the war memorabilia, I get my words right, it would have been his father's?
Not sure.
Bear with me. Would I be right in saying he would have talked to you about it or talked you through it? Because it feels
Just-
like I want to explain everything with you, your father.
He didn't explain it to me. I
Ah,
just
he didn't.
mm-mm.
You have it. That's fine. That's fine. It's my misunderstanding. I've got it the wrong way around. So, okay. But would you understand where he was very methodical, though, with everything?
Yes, yes.
That's fine, because I know here he's been very methodic with me. I've just misunderstood him because it feels like I want to go into the value of the stamps. I want to tell you where the stamps come from. I want to do the same with the coins and everything else.
That would be appropriate. Yes.
Because I know here it's just his mindset and the way that he is. And it feels as well, and I'm trying not to laugh with him, it feels as well that this would happen multiple times. He'd go over things with people.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Because it's almost like he keeps on repeating things to me, but I know that's who he is and the way that he does things. But again, with the sense of your father, I want to say he's very much family orientated as well. It's almost like I know that I'm not the best with speaking and bringing things out, but again, it's my actions that mean volumes. Understand?
Yes.
Okay, but I also feel with your father that he would never judge anyone. He would always only interact in things if asked.
Yes.
And I also feel that he would watch and listen to things. And again, if I said he had a wonderful way of uplifting you, and also, in fact, I want to leave it there. He would always have a wonderful way of making you feel better.
Yes.
Because it just feels in, and I want to come in and somebody's going to cough. It just feels I want to come in and really just uplift you and spend time listening with you, not prompting questions, but just listening. So you would have memories of your father doing that.
Yes.
But if I also said with your father, he liked to know what was going on in the world.
Yes.
Because it feels like I want to sit down and watch the news with him.
Yes.
Yes. And it feels where I've got to go, shh, be quiet, I'm watching the news. So you must have memories of that.
Yes.
Okay. And it feels where I will sit down and watch the news a few times a day. And it feels like I want to have an interest in politics. Now, I'm not saying he followed it, but he wanted to know what was going on.
Yes.
Yes. And if I said sometimes, and very rarely, he could get wound up with things about politics.
Absolutely.
And you would see him quite animated, which would be a little bit of a shock to some people.
Yes.
Because again, I just get that impression. Now, I'm not saying he did this, but he's making me laugh. It's almost like he could get really frustrated with what he saw about politics on the television.
Yes.
Because it feels like I say, I'm not saying he did this, but I feel like he wants to throw things at the television because he gets a little bit irate, because I know he just gets that little bit wound up by it as well. And if I said he had views of, and I know there's some words of truth to this, if politician, I'm really sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I hope I don't offend anybody. It's almost where politicians were concerned, I wish they would spend money on the important things and less on the red tape and bureaucracy, and things would be better in this world.
Yes.
Because I know here it's very opinionated on it as well. So I know there's a real sense, but I also know your dad is an advocate for truth and fairness. And I also know that he's not just family orientated, he's very protective of the family. Understand?
Yes.
And I also want to say to you, he's with you trying to, you're off again, aren't you? I want to say, that's the spirit world coming in with it.
Oh,
I
Kerry.
want to say with your dad, there's a real sense of him wanting to come in and help with situations around you that are a little bit tense, maybe around the family. Understand?
Yes.
Because and that's my polite way with the politics and everything, and I don't want to upset anybody. But I know here he would stand true, and he could be not the mediator, but he could be the person in the middle of family things, holding and keeping the peace.
Not sure if he would keep the peace.
Okay, bear with me. Then I know he wouldn't. Thank you. Then I know, I'm just going to look at this a slightly different way. Then I know he wouldn't like upsetting the family, and he would do things to sort. Bear with me, Pamela. Would I be right in saying sometimes, Pamela, he would just have a quiet word with you, not about anything in particular, but he would always have that one-on-one time with you?
Yes.
Because I know the way he shows me this, that he would have done this with people in the family in the background to keep that quietness, because I know he's not a man for making a big fuss and really, how can I put it? making issues in front of others?
Yes and
Because,
no. I mean, yes and
because
no. Like,
that's
yeah.
fine. Don't say anything, because I know it's just the way he wants to come forward here. But I know it's about lifting you, supporting you, and knowing that he's there for you as well. He could be a little bit outspoken on a few things as well.
Yes.
Because I know here, because I know where I reference the collection. She's still coughing in the background. I know as I reference the books and things in the beginning, it's almost like I want them to be passed to you as well, because there's a lot of sentiment between you and Dad, I want to say.
Yes.
I'm going to leave his love, knowing that, and I can't open this up because he won't let me, but I know sorting these things out in family, and that's all I'm going to say to you. Okay, I'm going to leave his love with you, Pamela, and thank you so much for allowing me to do that.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you.
You're absolutely welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure to work with everybody, but I know I've got the lovely Kerry McLeod coming back in after her coughing fit.
Oh, thank you so much, Phil.
Yeah.
And Kerry, sending you lots of love. Nothing's worse than having that tickle in the throat that doesn't let go. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
That's the thing. So even if we're not feeling great, we will always try and do our best. And I know Miss Cloud is going to do that.
I will do my absolute best.
I'm loving the sound of your voice.
Is it that sexy one?
That sexy one. There you go.
It is, Kerry. I'm even saying it.
So please excuse me. If I struggle, I've got a backup. Phil can step back in. So keep in touch.
Okay.
Don't steal the link.
I won't.
Don't interfere with the link, but
I
get
won't.
ready to pick up the link if
Okay.
need be.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just waiting on them. Oh, there we go. I know as the spirit world comes in there, I know I have a gentleman, and I get this. Okay. Just waiting on them sorting them, figuring out if it's my head that's mixed up or. Okay. I know I've got Dad here, and I know that Dad would have been absent in your life for a period of time. I also know that Dad would have wanted to make amends with you. I know that you wouldn't have had the greatest relationship with him, but I also know that Dad seemed to make amends towards the end of his life. And I know there's another family to your dad too.
Thank you very much, Kerry. Who understands this information? Okay, we have 2 ladies with their hands raised. 3.
No.
We have 4.
Mhm.
And a gentleman.
Okay. And I get the sense here that, how can I put this? The time that Dad was involved with you in your life, I get the strong feeling like he wasn't the kindest of fathers.
Thank you. All right, we still have 3 friends with their hands raised.
Did you say we had a gentleman in our audience?
We do.
Can I speak to that gentleman, please?
Mm-hmm. Doug, if you could press your unmute button. Doug, are you there? Hi, Doug.
Hello.
Hi, thanks.
Hi, Doug. Do you understand everything I've said?
When you had mentioned not the kindest of fathers, I think I wouldn't agree with that.
Okay, then I need somebody whose father was definitely not the kindest of fathers.
Thanks, Doug. Okay, I'm going to lower everybody's hands just because there's many hands that went up. And those of you who could take all the information, including your father not being the kindest of fathers, go ahead and put your hand back up if you would, please. Okay, we have two ladies with their hands raised. Kerry?
And one of our ladies would have almost suffered somewhat at the hands of her dad.
Thank you. Okay. Stacy, if you would press your unmute button, please. Hello, Stacy.
Hi, Sandra. Hi, Phil and Kerry.
Hi, Stacy. You understand everything I've said?
Sadly, yes.
And you understand your dad was absent for quite a significant period of time.
Yes.
And I know that he was not very pleasant to you when he was here, when you were together.
Right. Correct.
I know that you have, I know he gives me the impression that he has seen you go through some steps to recuperate from that.
Yes.
And I know he gives me this impression that there would have been other people that he was of a similar behavior to.
Yes.
And I get this impression too from him, an incredible sense of remorse. But before that, there would have been, some would say, justice seen with your dad.
Yes.
Because I know that he feels like he was punished for this.
Yes.
And I know whilst he was going through this process of society punishing him, he would have kept in contact with you.
Yes.
And I know that there would be some letters or some correspondence that you did not get until after he had passed.
Yes.
And of that correspondence, there must have been details in that correspondence that gave you an awareness of things you didn't know.
Yes.
And I
Very true.
feel this was the other family.
Yes.
And you would now have contact with members of this other family of your dad's.
Yes.
And you know that some things that he did within your family, he did within that family as well.
Yes.
Okay. I know he comes in, I feel the remorse, I
Mhm.
feel the shame, I feel the there being no reason or excuse for what he did. I also know that he you know that outside the two families, he would have been this way with other people.
Yes, he was.
Okay. Because I have this feeling of him being on this planet, in his own words, he didn't use to the best of the ability. He actually created more havoc than what he did blessings.
That's correct.
And I know that this is about thanksgiving and about gratitude, but he is ever so grateful that you have been fundamental in helping other people that were whose lives were touched by your dad come to terms and offer forgiveness.
Yes. Yes.
Because I feel that gratitude from him. Not that he feels he deserves it, but
Mhm.
I know he wishes to acknowledge it.
Right.
And I don't feel I have any more to say than that
Yeah.
he is grateful, that he has thankfulness in his heart, and that he has made contact with you individually and directly to you.
Yes. Yes.
I know that this is him saying, it was me, I am there, and I know right now he is featuring highly within your thoughts.
Yeah. His birthday's on Thanksgiving, so
Yeah.
yeah, he's right there in my mind.
Please know that he doesn't feel he warrants the amount of love and gratitude you give to him, but he's ever so grateful for that. I'm going to say thank you very much.
Thank you, Kerry. Thank you.
Thank you, Stacy. Thank you, Kerry.
I actually feel like I have another contact here. I feel I have Son, and I feel like Son would have, he wouldn't have made a quick transition to the spirit world. I feel like it was over a period of time. I feel also, is that your tummy?
That's my tummy. Hopefully nobody hears that.
Oh, I heard it over here.
I know that Son would have passed over a period of time, and I know that I am reaching out, and I know that I was genuinely the apple of my parents' eyes. And I know that you would have gone out of your way to find treatments for him and not have wanted to give up on him.
Thanks, Kerry. Who can understand this information? Please press your raise hand button. No one with their hands raised yet, Kerry.
If it's not son, would somebody understand son-in-law or stepson, or somebody who felt like a son to you?
Colleen has her hand raised. Colleen, if you could press the unmute button.
Hello.
Hi, Colleen. Hi, we can hear you. Good.
Hi.
Hi, Colleen. You understand everything I've said?
Yes.
And you understand this not as son, but as son-in-law or stepson?
As son.
Son.
As son. Okay. And you know you would have done, the family would have done everything possible to get him the best treatment.
Yes.
And I know he gives me this impression of double opinions and triple opinions on what was happening.
Yes.
And in actual fact, he gives me this feeling that he was misdiagnosed in the first place.
Yes.
Because I feel like the reason, after the misdiagnosis, he got longer here because of what you and the family did for him.
Yes.
The gratitude and the love and the feeling of life for having been part of that family. I get the sense, Colleen, that whatever your son had, there would be, I'm going to dare to go where you think he wants to go. You would know there was either a disease or an ailment named after him, or there's more found out about this because of your son.
No.
Okay, then there's more awareness within. I have to. Then you would have donated monies to a charity that supports this condition.
No.
I have to say, there's a feeling from your son that the condition he had, if it's not that, then Colleen, and I've got it round the wrong way, you must have learned as much as you could have about this, and to the point that you would have known more than the doctors.
Some doctors, yes.
Because I feel like you've pushed and you've got awareness brought and you've created awareness and you haven't let it drop and you have brought this up to the surface. And I know during his short years on this planet, he made a heck of a difference all through his illness.
Yes.
And I know he would have supported his younger members of the family. And I know too that he would have celebrated one of his last birthdays in hospital.
Yes.
Okay. I know too that you must just have a birthday very soon.
No.
Then you would know why your son is singing happy birthday in my ear. It's the man who plays the keyboards. Happy birthday.
Stevie Wonder.
Stevie Wonder. I can hear him singing Stevie Wonder in my ear. So you would know where he's singing that too, Colleen.
Possibly his son.
The birthday's in this immediate area.
In a couple of weeks.
Then it must be a birthday they're all important, but it must be a birthday that matters more than the others. I'm going to take that back, Colleen. Then his son, your grandson, would have studies or achievements that your son wants to acknowledge.
Absolutely.
Because I can hear happy birthday, but I can also hear celebration song. I'm not going to ruin your ear. Your oh, my brain doesn't work. But I can hear celebrations, have a celebration. And I know he wants to say this to his son. Well done, well done, well done. Because I know his son suffered incredibly through the illness and through the passing. And thank you, Mum, for doing all you have for the family on my departure and in my absence. I have to say happy Thanksgiving and I love you, Mum.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you, Colleen.
Thank you, Colleen. Thank you, Kerry. Thank you, Phil. Thank you, everybody. Kerry's worked through that cough. We appreciate it. Now, I'm going to ask everybody not to go anywhere because we got some great announcements, including in 1/2 hour time, we're doing another medium demonstration. It'll be 90 minutes or just over with 4 of the progressive students. You've met them before on our Sunday gatherings from Kerry and Phil's classes. So I think it's important that everyone knows really how important a good medium reading can be. And that's one of the reasons that we've got a big plan coming up. We're in the midst of filming our second We Don't Die film. It's going to be called Evidence of the Afterlife, featuring Kerry and Phil. Yes, that's right. I think probably everyone in our community here has been touched one way or another with a medium, whether it's in our Sunday gathering or maybe you've gotten a medium reading. Not everyone is up to snuff, and I don't think it's people trying to take advantage of people. Sometimes, yes, but I think the world needs to know that there's a better level of mediumship that currently exists, and we're out to change that and give people who are mediums a little lift and to be better. And also for people, we call them sitters, who receive a medium demonstration, that it's something affordable, that you're not charged a lot of money, that people have money back guarantee, that there's integrity brought to mediumship. So what we're doing in partnership with our filmmaker, Robert Lyon, Kerry and Phil and myself, is this coming several weeks, we are doing some special events 1/2 hour after our Sunday gathering ends. And you can join for just a tiny little donation if you'd like, or you can dig deep in your pockets and donate more if you have it. But one ticket will be for our demonstration today, and then nothing next week except for our Sunday gathering. people are enjoying their family time. But December 3rd, we're going to have a guest speaker of Dr. Craig Hogan, who's written several books of the afterlife. He's also the president of the Afterlife Research and Education Institute. He'll be doing a presentation. The following weekend, we have medium Jennifer Brazier, who's going to be with us for a demonstration. And then the following Sunday after that will be the 17th, will be a demonstration with Kerry and Phil. So these are things a little bit extra, not much, but they'll aiming to keep everyone's hearts filled with joy, because holiday times are tough, and to know that our loved ones truly are around. And then as a thank you, you'll come to these events, but also that you know that you'll be part of making this film that really is intended to raise the level of mediumship and training in the world. And we are out to make a global difference. We absolutely are. Also, if you want to visit Santou's website, it can be reached at griefsupport.co. And again, thank you to Santou. Some other things coming up, and you can find everything, including the demonstrations I'm talking about. Go to wedon'tdie.com and just click on the store page. So other good things is our new medium classes with Kerry and Phil for January, February have just been announced. You can register there. Also, they have a wonderful class called Color and the Aura. You get to learn the meaning of colors, and we each have an aura, and it's how to do those psychic readings on each other. So it's a spectacular class. Of course, Scott Milligan has Trance and the Altered States coming up December and in January. We're also doing a special benefit for Children's Hospice coming up with Scott on December 8th. I think that's it. I know there's more that I've forgotten, but everything can be found once again at wedon'tdie.com, including I've got some great new podcast episodes for you. And if you're someone who has donated to make our Sunday gathering possible today, just a shout out to you. Thank you so much. It all makes a difference. You know, after COVID hit, nothing ever got easier, did it? But we continue on to make a difference. We know it makes a difference. So we want to thank you for your donations. If you feel like donating to that, you may as well. Just go to the Sunday Gathering page at wedon'tdie.com. I think that's it for the announcements. I want everybody to make sure they get a good break in, because we're going to start in just a half hour's time with the next medium demonstration. So let's go over to Kerry and Phil for some words for the week and our closing prayer.
Thank you very much. We know that it's Thanksgiving in the US and Thanksgiving around the world. But Thanksgiving is something we can do every single day, not just one day of the year. Thanksgiving isn't about giving thanks necessarily to those in our past. It's giving thanks to how we raise the youth of the future. Let's raise them in a way that they see no difference in religion, faith, colour, or creed. Let's hope for a world of peace.
And let's give gratitude to what we have in life right now, from families to children to parents to friendships, but also to the things that we take for granted, such as nature, the colour of the flowers, the autumn leaves that may crunch like a symphony under our feet. Let's be grateful for everything that we share and really see the beauty of what we have in our lives and make the most of it. Because you know that saying, where our attention goes, energy flows. The more positive we stay, the more positivity we bring into our lives. Thank you for listening. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time of the Sunday gathering that we bow our heads once more and go into that union that we call prayer. And if you could join me by closing your eyes, thinking of your loved ones in the spirit world and how they've celebrated not just this evening, but how they've created and inspired you through their lives to live your truer life. Great infinite Spirit, we sit before you once more with that gratitude and thanks within our hearts. Thank you for that pure joy of life and how we cherish each moment with each other. And as we walk forward through this week, we want to keep that thankfulness and that gratitude in our minds and hearts towards each other. The slightest little action of opening a door or just smiling can make a huge difference in someone's lives. So with that thought in mind and that positivity within our hearts, we thank you and allowing that grace to take place. Amen.
Thank you so much, Kerry and Phil. Love you guys. I'll see you in a half hour's time. Santou, thank you for the difference that you've made today. And everyone, someone just put in the chat box, is it too late to register for the Medium event? It is not. In fact, you can register from now up till when it's over, the next in December 17th. You can continue, and it'll be the same Zoom link for all events. We're going to have one more sing along, and this is a beautiful song that many of us know by heart. That made me so happy singing along. I hope you guys did too. Whether or not you enjoy Thanksgiving holiday, we give thanks to you. We're so grateful you're part of our Sunday gathering. You are never alone. John Denver is still singing on in the life after. Your loved ones are around you. Set a place at your table for them if you like. Keep including them. They are alive. And I promise you, we promise you, you will see them again. So on behalf of all of us, we love you and we'll see you in 20 minutes. Again, just go to wedon'tdie.com on the store page. You'll see the demonstration coming up. Bye, everyone. Thank you.